Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Level 3, this is SportsRage. All right, countdown to kickoff is on. We're going to get into some CFL football with Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano. But I got some futures for you. I posted them online. I was going to do a video, but it would have been too long and just would have rambled on forever. So let's get the picks up. But I've actually added one that'll give us sort of a bonus. We'll start off, actually. Go with the win totals first here. Let's go. Let's start off with some win totals. Give me the BC Lions over 11.5 wins. This team is loaded on both sides of the football. We should note there's been quite a few changes on the offense. Like with the Lions, they lost a couple of wide receivers for real. Like Dominic Rhymes is gone. Lucky Whitehead is gone. But a big signing, and it's a big move for them, is they brought in William Stanback, the best running back in the league, along with Oliveira from Montreal. BC have never really had a ground game. It's smart. They're sort of like Buffalo. They want to take a little pressure off their quarterback and have a running game to go with their aerial attack. But I think it's going to work. So I like the BC Lions over 11.5, 18-game schedule, guys. They got to go 12-6. They're probably going to be like 14-4, 13-5, I would say, BC. It's a long season. Injuries happen, but I like BC over 11.5. The Ottawa Red Blacks. All right, nobody likes Ottawa. This team had a really nice offseason. They bring in Drew Brown, who was the backup quarterback for the past couple of years with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now he gets a chance to start in the CFL. I think he'll be good. I just talked about them bringing in Dominic Rhymes, very good wide receiver from the BC Lions. They have a couple of stud young wide receivers on this team already. And the thing about the Ottawa Red Blacks is it's a low total. Dude, 7-11 wins my bet. The Eastern Division isn't that good. Montreal's pretty good. Hamilton are average. Toronto don't have their star quarterback and lost like 12 guys on their team. It's a manageable division. You go 7-11, you win the bet. I think Ottawa are going to compete for a playoff spot, and they're probably going to win like 8 games or something this year. I like the Ottawa Red Blacks to go over. They got some real studs on defense, Ottawa, too. So as long as they can score some points, they're going to win some games this year. Over 6.5 with Ottawa. Saskatchewan Rough Riders, you can get 7.5 at minus 156, minus 160. I'm just going with 8.5 at plus 105, plus 110, whatever it was. I think this team, I don't want to lay juice on a future that I have to wait so long in the CFL for. I'd rather get plus money at 8.5 at plus 110. And This team, I think they're going to win 10 games, 9 games. They bring in Willette from the Toronto Argonauts. They have a new coach in Corey Mace, who is the defensive coordinator of the Toronto Argonauts. I think he's a very good young coach. They have a very good running back. Trevor Harris is a good quarterback when he stays healthy. They just got to keep him upright, but they got a pretty good line. They have good skill position players. There's an enthusiasm around this football team. I like the way they looked in the preseason, too. The offense was clicking and flowing. I think this Rough Rider team is a playoff team. They're going to be a competitive team this year. Bonus pick, Montreal Alouettes over 9.5 wins. It's minus 150. There were 10.5s out there, and I was like, I don't want them to win 11. They probably do, but I don't want to stress out every Alouette game. They won the Grey Cup last year, but they're not amazing. They play hard. They have a good defense, but I think 10 is more manageable. 10 and 8, no problem. All right, so I'm going to lay the 50 cents on this one, over 9.5. I give you the Montreal Alouettes to go to the Grey Cup, to reach the final. All right, you can call it to win the East, but to reach the final, it's to win the East Division's a little bit deceptive, but CFL people know what I'm talking about. To win the East, to go to the Grey Cup, plus 275, where they lose to the BC Lions. All right, shout out to all of our affiliates that are joining us right now. It's in the middle of a DGen special CFL preview. We'll rattle them off. And speaking of that, we got Ian Cameron stepping up in it and joining us here in Level 3. Countdown to tip-off is on. We've had a lot of smart guests on throughout the week. Tonight, we had a couple of sharp guys on earlier, and Brady Cannon and Paul Bovey. Brady's known for golf, but he's a smart bettor. And Brady likes the Boston Celtics to win the NBA championship. Paul Bovey likes the Dallas Mavericks. For the most part, everybody's been on Boston, but there's been a little late love now on the Dallas Mavericks. I myself are going to roll the dice with the Dallas Mavericks. We'll break it down. We'll get you caught up to date with the MVP prices, Game 1 numbers, and everything else in between. Stanley Cup Finals rapidly approaching as well. Babano was one of the ice guys, so we'll get his takes on the Stanley Cup Finals as well. The Major League Baseball board has come to a close here this evening. Cam Stewart in the house. We'll get some Memorial golf picks. He gave some picks earlier, but we'll go over his golf picks once again for people that are joining us. So countdown to the NBA Finals is on. Finally, it's here. And we should note tomorrow night, actually, we're going to be coming on after the games. So tomorrow night, it won't affect anybody tuning in right now in Level 3 for all of our affiliates and stuff like that. But we're only on for 1 hour tomorrow night, right? We're getting bumped, preempted, backed up by the NBA Finals. So we're going to be on after. We'll give you our thoughts on the game and on what went down after the game. But I'm getting fired up for this, and it never ends well when I talk myself into betting on a under. But I'm really liking the under in the first quarter of Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Both teams have been off. Boston have been off for an extended period of time. Dallas have been off for a week. This is a championship fight, man, right? You see championship fights in combat sports. People don't try to kill each other right away. There's a feeling out process. The current total right now is 55.5 for the first quarter of Game 1 tomorrow night. I'm going to roll the dice that we don't get to 56 points in the first quarter tomorrow night. And then I'm going to jump in on an in-game over once the number dips a little bit after what I hope and predict will be a slower start to this basketball game. Whatever. We'll get to 49, 51, 52 or something like that. Number comes down a little bit and we'll step up and in. I am looking to take the Dallas Mavericks plus the points as well. I think the Mavericks understand the key. They need to steal a game in Boston if they're going to win this series, and what better game to do it than Game 1 when Boston had been off for 10-plus days, and they're bringing Kristaps Porzingis back into the lineup for the first time since April the 29th. I know the history has been Boston Game 1, and they slip up Game 2. I'm buying in. Dallas plus the points tomorrow night. And I tell you what, Cam, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. So you got to pick one team or the other here. Someone's going to be harder and someone's going to be a little fresher than the other one. And I do say that the Dallas Mavericks will be the ones that are going to be fresher tomorrow night.
I got to tell you, I think this game's going to have great live betting opportunities, Morency, because you said it. They've been off for a long time, and there's going to be spurts in this game, and I'm kind of with you. I know you're a total over better, but I can see some clanking earlier on in this game. I know Bovey liked the team total of the Dallas Mavericks, but I'm not very comfortable taking it over in this spot. It would be under. I like the Celtics in the series, but that's a very, very generous amount of points, Gabe. You're getting 6.5 points with a very, very good Dallas Mavericks team. I know we talked about it. Boston usually wins 1, lose 2, but a lot of points. Hey, you could still take the points and Boston wins. They got to win by 7 for you to lose your bet.
I'm curious to see. There hasn't been any live movement throughout the week, with these finals. Like I said, the finals are kind of flown under the radar. It's not the Super Bowl. People don't talk about it 24/7 during the bye week. But now, tomorrow, that people actually remember, oh, yeah, by the way, the NBA Finals are finally freaking starting. Do they jump in and start pulling the trigger on the Boston Celtics? Does the number move? I don't think it will. I think the sports books are comfortable with the 6.5 right now, but it does feel a little bit high in a series that I think is a complete toss-up. And I think the best player on the floor is on the Dallas Mavericks. I think the second best player on the floor is on the Dallas Mavericks. The Boston Celtics have more. They have more depth. They're deeper. But you know what? In a shortened series, I don't think depth matters. This is Sports Rage.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency, the pits, the players, the hustlers, the people, the busters, and everybody else in between. All right, let's get down to business. Ian Cameron steps up and in to join us. There's a lot of stuff to get to, Babano. It's championship week. NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, UFL playoffs, United Football League playoffs, of course, CFL kickoff. So let's start off in chronological order. The NBA Finals tip off tomorrow night. Who do you like in the series? And then we'll get to who do you like in game one. But who do you like to win the NBA Finals, Ian Cameron?
I'm biased because I've got them in the futures market. I thought they had great value. coming into the playoffs. I thought the Western Conference was there for them because Oklahoma City's a young 1 seed, because the Clippers had questions, because it's tough to repeat as good as Denver was, and Dallas Mavericks have ended up here. I'm going to trust in them that they've got a real chance to win this series. I'm going to stick to them. I've already got them to win the championship pre-playoff, but if I didn't, I would take a shot with them in the series price here in that plus 180, plus 190 range. I know Porzingis is back. It's huge. It's a big deal for the Boston Celtics. Makes them infinitely better, especially gives them that paint presence as well. There's no question. That's a good thing for the Celtics. But you look at this Boston team, I think defensively they go into lapses. I think sometimes there's too much one-on-one ISO basketball that gets them in a little bit of trouble. I think the ball stops moving. It sticks sometimes, and that can be a bit of a problem. I think defensively we've seen a lot of good things from Dallas, and I know the Celtics can clamp down on defense, but I think the Mavs have shown their ability defensively, and the additions of P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford truly made a difference for this team. And then, of course, you got 2 closers in Luka and Kyrie, who both played at a very high level, obviously, in the Western Conference Finals. So you put it all together, plus Boston's path, where Rozier and Butler were out for Miami. Donovan Mitchell was injured for Cleveland in the second round. Indiana had 3 games they should have won that they didn't in the Eastern Conference Final. It's not like Boston breezed their way to the NBA Finals. They had injuries in the first 2 opponents. Indiana should have won games that they didn't to make that series more interesting. I think Dallas gives them a series, and I wouldn't be shocked if they win it.
Ian Cameron, good breakdown, Babano. I agree with a lot of what you said there. I think one thing, and I've been bringing up, I think Luka's the best player on the court, with all due respect to Tatum and Brown, and I'd argue that Kyrie Irving's the second best player on the court. But I don't think people realize, I think, the casual fan, and I'm not calling people out when I say that, but I mean, I'm sure some people think, Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington, these are the players you guys are talking about that are going to help them win. By the way, they're 21-5 with that starting lineup. All right, so it's real. It's not like, well, okay, they're not household names, these guys, but they already have household names, Luka and Kyrie. They don't need more household names. They needed guys that could fill roles for them, and now they have them, right? They're actually doing it. Luka said, I've never been more confident in my team before and the teammates that I have and how this is set up. Now it's up to him to help them put it over the top. I think, though, I don't want to undersell Derek White. Obviously a massive key. And I'm a big Drew Holiday fan, guys, right? I maintain, listen, the Milwaukee Bucks don't win that championship without Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, plays defense. He scores clutch points. He's been in big games. He's mentally tough. He's physically tough. He's just a great playoff type of player you want on your team, and he's on the Boston Celtics. I get it. He's not the exact same player he was on Milwaukee anymore. He's not getting any younger, but we've seen he can still light it up, and he can still do his thing. But with all that being stated, I wonder, man, I've always said it, Cam. I've always talked about Gonzaga and that, you play in that conference, you beat up on Loyola Marymount, you beat up on these teams. You know what I mean, Babano? The Celtics, to me, are like a college team. They beat up on bad teams, but if you punch them back, and the big key with the Celtics, too, for me, guys, against them is you'll notice in close games, late in a game, they don't really have a design, we're going to Tatum here. We're going to Brown here. Now, you can argue that, well, okay, you don't know where they're going. They go with the open man. Nah, there kind of needs to be a hierarchy at this point in time. Right? Jordan would pass to the open man, but Jordan had the ball. And we know, and we saw this against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is what the T-Wolves kept losing against them. In the last minute or so, what would happen? Luka would say, give me the damn ball, or Kyrie would say, all right, I got this. Give me the ball. Yep. And they would make the shots. So it's just we've seen, Dallas are good in the clutch. I think Kyrie can take it to another level. And I think Luka is probably going to drop like 45 in a game in this series. We're talking about, can he get to 50? I don't know if he gets to 50 here, but Babano, I've already liked the Dallas Mavericks, but everything you said I agree with. I'm not saying it's going to be easy for them, but they are going to beat the Boston Celtics, in my opinion.
The Minnesota Timberwolves, to back up your guys' argument, I'm on Boston in the series. I think it's going to be legendary, but every time Minnesota had a lead or things got real at the end of the game, Dallas came through. That was the whole thing, and Edwards was like, what am I going to do, whatever, and Dallas is like, don't worry about it. We got it under control. The one problem I'm having backing Boston is who's going to have the damn ball at the end of the game. They got a lot of options. Porzingis is back. This guy, who's going to do it? White, he can take a three. That's the whole thing. Dallas knows their MO. They know, okay, Luka, you're the guy, or Kyrie. Gabe, you talked about Kyrie. He's slippery as hell with those beautiful layups from different directions and all sorts of crazy stuff. Very hard to guard. The more I think about this, I'm on Boston, but I'm a little bit worried now because the Dallas Mavericks bring a lot to the table, and they're a damn nice price.
Now, when we look at the MVP here, unlike the NHL, which we'll get to, but you look at the NHL, if you like the Edmonton Oilers, you can make an argument and say, oh, well, I got to take Connor McDavid at plus 200, and that's my argument. Okay, I'm getting plus 105, plus 110, whatever, with the Oilers to win the series, but I'm doubling the price. And we went over it earlier. We can make it on. We'll get into it, but yeah, Evan Bouchard deserves this, and Skinner could play great and all this, but the Oilers won't win unless McDavid plays well. And if they win, they're going to give it to McDavid. And you're getting plus 200. The NBA Finals, where I'm going with this is, it's not the same. You can get the Dallas Mavericks at plus 188, or you get Luka to win the MVP at plus 200. So there's a big difference. We'll hit that more on the other side where it's correlated.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I got to tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, it's almost time to start clicking away. The NBA Finals, less than 24 hours away. And in fact, tomorrow night at this time, we'll be talking about the NBA Finals and what happened in Game 1. Ian Cameron with us, and he says that he took the Mavericks before the playoffs, and he's holding on to his ticket right now. Cam likes the Boston Celtics. I'm on the Dallas Mavericks. I did a video. I posted my picks yesterday. Over 5.5 games in the series at minus 165. Over 6.5 games in the series at plus 200. And the Dallas Mavericks to win at plus 185. So I got 2+ monies, and I got an over 5.5. The over 5.5, I'm going to go bigger on. And I talked about it too, guys. I like over 5.5 games in both finals. So over 5.5 games in the NBA Finals, over 5.5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, parlay together is plus 141. Some nice plus money right there. Can't go wrong with plus money parlays.
That's a crazy price. You're like, you get 6 games. Like, what are these are two, like, this is the thing. You're at the finals now. Like, if anybody wins in 5, I'd be shocked. Like, even
and I
like
did the
Florida.
math.
Yeah,
I check everything with this. So I looked because I'm like, okay, I like Dallas plus 2.5 and Edmonton plus 2.5. Dude, that's like minus 141 or something.
Yeah.
But I'm getting both of them. Then I'm like, all right, I could do that, or I could bet over 5.5 and get plus 141. That's what I'm saying. There is a little, an art to it, guys, about always figuring out like the different ways of betting something and getting a different number for it. But I was just talking about the NBA Finals MVP, and I'll give people the odds for this. And listen, Jason Tatum is a great player. No one's disputing this, but the minus 125, just not a really, really attractive price. We've seen Jaylen Brown just got the MVP of the conference finals. So Jason Tatum is minus 125. Luka's plus 200. Whatever, I love Luka, and I think the Mavericks are to play, but why would I take an MVP pick at plus 200 when the damn team is plus 190? You know what I mean? Kyrie might score 40 points a game, whatever. So there's no value of doing it. Jaylen Brown I could live with if you guys like the Celtics. Kyrie Irving at 16-1. Dude, the media loves Luka, all right? They're giving it to Luka. Derek White, 40-1. Drew Holiday, Porzingis, 50-1. I'll speak for Celtic fans out there. I would say, what if Derek White hits 1,000,000 threes in this series at 40-1? You're nodding your head, Babano, at that one.
Yeah.
And I'm on Dallas, but what do you think? I'm talking about value here.
Yeah. That's the value I see with Boston. Like, if I'm interested in anyone in Boston, it's Derek White. It's maybe even Drew Holiday. I'm not interested in Brown and Tatum at those prices in particular, especially when so many different players on a nightly basis can make a key impact and have a big,
they're deep.
Exactly, 100%. They don't have to rely on Jason Tatum.
And Porzingis is back.
Or Brown.
No, and Tatum, that's another thing, too. To already has enough accolades, guys.
Yep.
Like, people were like, oh, he's jealous of Jaylen Brown. No, he isn't. Like, Jason Tatum isn't going to be judged whether he gets a chip or not, man. Dude, Jason Tatum could score 8 points a game in this series. They win a championship. He's a Celtics legend for life.
Yep.
He's already statistically one of the greatest Celtics ever as it is. And he's still like 27 or whatever the hell he is, right? So, like, to him, he knows I don't need to be a star and be 33 a night here. But if we're from Dallas's perspective, Luka and Kyrie need to score 30 a night each.
They do.
They know this. They're like, no. This is my job. I need to do this. So it's a different dynamic. On the other side, we'll hit the Stanley Cup Finals with Ian Cameron. We'll get into the week 1 of the CFL as well. So series spread for the NBA Finals. The Dallas Mavericks plus 1.5 is minus 130. So that's what I'm talking about. See, if you take the Dallas Mavericks plus 1.5 at minus 130, the series has to go 7 games. So just take the series to go 7 games at plus 200 instead of laying minus 130. Right? That's what I'm talking about, like with different angles with this stuff. So if anybody's thinking, Dallas plus 1.5, no, just take the game to go 7 then. Because I doubt Dallas wins in 4 or 5, etc. So for me, guys, that's the parlay. Over 5.5 in the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals. Plus 141. And you got to get it in tonight or tomorrow before the tip-off here.
I think it's a great parlay. As I said, we're down to the best teams in the league, and the fact that you're going to see a sweep or 5 games almost seems insane. I think the best you could do in both series is 6. That's the thing. If somebody wins, it's 6. But 5, that's asking a lot. That is asking almost a crazy amount. You're getting plus money on it. It's a great way to bet. It's a good parlay.
Let's see Oilers win in 5, baby.
Hey, settle down, Gabe. Settle.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Wicked Wednesday continues. This is SportsRage. Shout out to everybody joining us on the Money or 1090 ESPN Radio. We'll be on tomorrow night after the NBA Finals. 1 hour show tomorrow night. And then on Friday, we've got Live Golf. So, in fact, 2 hour show on Friday. We've got all kinds of live sports going on here and events and shows and stuff. But there's your alert. Follow me on Twitter. I always post our schedule online at SportsRage. All right, so we went over the NBA Finals. We'll get into the CFL with Ian Cameron. We're all fired up to bet on some football, United Football League as well. Playoffs down to their Final Four this weekend. But the Stanley Cup Finals, it's a great matchup. I'm literally like both the series are really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, how they both play out. I've been talking about the Dallas Mavericks. I've been making a case for them. Ian Cameron just did as well. But I'm more confident in the Edmonton Oilers than I am the Dallas Mavericks. And I guess that's not really a shock. I mean, the Oilers aren't plus 185 underdogs in this series, right? I mean, it's not a pick 'em, but it almost is. So, but I do personally like the Edmonton Oilers, Babano. I've been making the same points throughout the week. I'm looking forward to just dropping a puck. But Skinner has been great. 6-2 in his last 8 games, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. And it's all about, we always talk about peaking at the right time. If you look at the Edmonton Oilers, they had that 16-game win streak, I know, but now in the playoffs, they played great in Game 6 against the Canucks. They played great in Game 7 against the Canucks. They took over the series against the Dallas Stars. It wasn't like a lucky win in the series. They were better than they were. Like the Stars were beaten down and worn. Like they were like, it's done. Thank you. Congratulations. Move on now. I just think the Oilers are peaking at the right time. It's not really anything negative I have against the Florida Panthers, but I think the Oilers are the better team. Who are you taking, Ian Cameron, Panthers or Oilers?
Well, they definitely surprised me with the way they played against Dallas, because I definitely liked Dallas in that series and thought Dallas's depth was going to win out. I thought Ottinger was going to be the better goaltender, and none of that happened. Skinner outplayed Ottinger, and the difference to me was the special teams. I mean, you can't go 0 for 14 on the power play in a best-of-7 series and expect to win. It's just
And
not
let me
gonna
throw
happen.
that in there, Babano. The Oilers are on a 28 for 28 kill right now. 28 consecutive penalties they've killed off.
No, it's been phenomenal. The turnaround in the penalty kill. And Chris Knobloch shows you what kind of guy he is in terms of he doesn't want to take credit for anything or all of the turnaround here with the penalty kill. He's Mark Stewart. He said the guy that's been
Who, the
manning
Bills
the
hater?
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
Bills
enemy of
hater.
Bills Mafia?
Yeah, that's
That guy.
right. You're damn right.
I saw
that
that
guy.
talk.
Mark Stewart's the reason that they have power play, not you, Knobloch, and stop mocking the Bills. Stay in your lane.
What did the Bills ever do to him? I
I
couldn't
know.
believe it when I heard
Out of all the
I
teams,
don't
you
know.
could have said the Leafs or whatever. It goes to the NFL.
I'd like to
with
ask
the
him
Bills.
personally. I'm going to ask him.
Question.
Like, are you a Cowboy fan? Are you a Bill fan? Did you lose money
What's
as a
your deal?
kid? Like what's your
Yeah.
deal? Like, why?
Yeah.
My only thing with Babano and Cam is it happened 30 years ago.
It's
So you don't have a
random.
more recent sports reference? Like I said,
agree.
why do you bring up? Oh, it didn't help Fran Tarkenton in the '70s in the Super Bowl, did it?
Exactly.
It's like, what do you like? You know what I mean, dude? You're talking about 1991. They lost in 1991. Like, what do you do, dude? It's
Long time
2024.
ago.
Why did he pick the Bills out of his head?
It has nothing to do with
It's a dated
anything. The Bills
reference.
went to 4 straight damn Super. Like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Like,
And you're not in the Super Bowl, Knobloch. You're in the Stanley Cup Finals. Not one game,
I know.
jackass.
Yeah, keep your stick on the ice.
I'm on
Knobloch.
Edmonton, and I'm all like,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you already beat my Canucks. Now I'm already betting on you. Now you're ripping the Bills. I'm thinking, you guys better shut up. I'm having a hard time with this.
Haven't the people of Western
making
New
me
York
upset.
had enough? Now the Oilers coach is taking jabs at these guys. Shut the hell up, bro. Worry about the Panthers. End of that. Yeah, I'm done.
I was wondering, I was like, is this guy from Niagara Falls or something? And why does he know the
like
Bills? But no,
Yeah.
he's from Imperial, Saskatchewan.
Oh, great. Yeah, big Bills fan. tough times for the
I
Riders.
just said that's where
Never
no one
gave
knows.
Rich
This
Wayne when he
Knobloch
missed
guy.
that kick. Yeah, it's like, what?
He's the most
Bring that up.
nondescript guy. Knobloch could rob a bank, and people would be like, "What do you look like?" They'd be like, "I don't
Right.
know, average
Right.
white guy. Like, what was he tall? Hair? I don't know. He just
Great.
kind of blended in, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
Great
the way he
call,
talks.
Morency.
Oh, we're very excited to go. And I told the guys, we're
Very
gonna do
low-key.
well, we can.
You're
Like
right.
he's
Police
got no
sketch.
personality.
Yeah.
It takes
Please
him 10,
sketch, you're done.
takes him
That
30
guy will go on
seconds
a
to get a
rampage.
sentence out. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
he's
right.
like,
he looks like
I
everybody.
miss my
Like, you're
boy
right.
Woodcroft. Poor Woodcroft can't be here along for this ride.
Woodcroft looks like
His
my
facial
buddy. He's at the
expressions,
bar.
man.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Poor Woodcroft.
We're-
Like he's sucking back like nice to be like
Yeah.
big Alberta beers there at the bar going, damn.
yeah.
what
You
could
know
have been."
who?
Poor
You know
guy.
who Woodcroft is? You like this, but better too is Woodcroft is Doug Collins. He's getting screwed. Woodcroft went
Yeah.
through all the pain with the Oilers.
It's
With
so true, man.
McDavid.
Just like
And
Doug-
now
and
Cam,
Phil
this
Jack-
Knobloch
and now
guy
Chris
slides
Knobloch's
in.
Phil Jackson.
I know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, watch
I
Knobloch's going
like-
to go on and win 3 Stanley Cups. Going to be the next genius in the league.
I miss Woodcroft. You're right. Good guy. Poor
No,
guy.
Knobloch's done a nice job. He really has.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
with the adjustments, the matchups.
Yeah.
Hell,
Here's the things he did.
his
Yeah.
dude, he put guys. You know him about it. You're on the ice, guys. He played guys that didn't even play. He's like, all right,
That's true.
I'm bringing this guy, and then he scored.
Broberg.
Like, you know what I
Look at the
mean?
way Broberg's played on the blue line
Babano,
since he put him at the end of the demo.
but to Babano gave the point. The Edmonton Oilers coaching staff and the special teams guys, they get credit too. It's not just you, Chucky Knobloch. It's all the rest of these guys because their power play and penalty kill went from whatever. They're first in both categories. That's what the coach, he coaches the team, but the other guys run those units. So shout out to the other members of the Oilers staff. Just saying.
So what's your pick, Babano? Panthers or Oilers?
So Edmonton's done a great job. There's no question about that. I thought for as good as Edmonton's penalty kill was, 28 straight, Dallas was too cute. Dallas didn't shoot the puck enough. Florida is going to bring a straight line, in your face, tenacious forecheck. They're going to be hard on the puck. One-on-one battles and winning them all over the ice has been a staple of Florida's game in these playoffs. And this is going to be a different level of will and want to that the Florida Panthers are going to put the Edmonton Oilers through. And I like the idea of this team being a team that was here last year, fell short, and now they're back in the Stanley Cup final this year. I'm going with the Panthers here to get the job done.
Stanley C. Panther. There we go.
And the Edmonton Oilers do have the curse of Corey Perry on the team as well. With all due respect to Corey
That's
Perry.
true. get to the
Hey, hell of
final
an
and lose.
accomplishment to go to 5 straight Stanley Cups, but like he's lost them all.
Yeah,
It's true.
I know it's true. Yeah,
It's almost
So,
like
but
it really is amazing. Like he was on Tampa and they lost. He was on Montreal and they lost. Then he went to, where did he go after that and they lost? Who was in the Cup 2 years ago? Dallas Stars. He was on
Montreal.
Dallas Stars.
Dallas,
Yeah.
Dallas, yep.
yeah.
Dallas.
Tampa lost.
There was
to
another
Colorado.
one.
Yeah,
Tampa,
lost to
Montreal,
Colorado.
Dallas.
Yeah.
There's the one.
There's
more.
another one. No, there's
Yeah,
another
there is.
one.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
He was on the Ducks, but he was on the Ducks when they won. That's where he won his cup.
Yeah. That's a good point.
there's another one in there too. But Dallas, Montreal, Tampa, and there's another one in there.
I guess I actually could just look up his
Yeah,
career
just
and
do
see
it,
where
'cause
he
it's
played
really
the last 2
It's
years.
really starting to piss me off.
Just from a
anyways,
personal standpoint,
He loses
there's
a lot. It's one of these weird deals. He's been on the losing Stanley Cup, but it's one of those deals where every team he goes to the finals and they always lose, but he's a hell of a player.
There's a lot of players and coaches that are looking for their first Stanley Cup, and I've said this already on Twitter. There is no one I am pulling for and cheering for more to win their first Stanley Cup, coach or player in this series, than Paul Maurice. I am
Here it is.
absolutely hoping he gets it.
It is. Anaheim Ducks. So it was the Anaheim Ducks, Dallas Stars,
Good call.
Montreal Canadiens, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Wow.
Wow. Good call,
And
Jack.
he won once with the Ducks, but he lost with them too.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. Be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I got to tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're getting fired up. Countdown to tip-off is on. Countdown to puck drop is on. Talking about the Stanley Cup Finals. Referee officiating is always important and big. And yes, they want to keep the whistle in their pockets, more so in the Stanley Cup Finals. They'll call less penalties as they go on. But let's not kid ourselves. It's 2024, all right? This isn't 1978. And they do call penalties in the Stanley Cup Finals. They will. And they want entertainment as well, right? They don't mind power play goals. TV ratings have been very good, man. They got like 3.9. They're averaging like over 3 million viewers a game and stuff. Really, really good numbers. So they're I don't think they're going to want it to be a free-for-all. I think they would prefer if they was like more skilled than if it turned into a bloodbath this series. But you talked about it, Babano. The Edmonton Oilers, right? They shut down the Stars 14 times. They're on a 28 PK run here right now. And statistically, it's 93.9%. So let's call it 94%. They've killed off 94% of the penalties in the postseason. Florida are great as well, 88%. Difference, Edmonton on the power play, Babano, 37% score rate in the postseason. Florida, 23%. And my own personal opinion is Edmonton's is going to at times catch Florida off guard. And Florida are going to be like, damn, I have no choice but to trip this dude right now. Right? Like it's sort of like a football, like a DB getting beat. Draisaitl will beat me, man. I'm taking him down. I'll bite the bullet and I'll eat the minutes here. So the refs won't have a choice but to call it. Florida averaged 12 minutes and penalties a game in the playoffs. They're a physical team. It'll be interesting to see how it's called, but I think the special teams advantage goes to the Oilers. That's what I'm hanging my hat on that.
Oh, it could, but I think the 5-on-5 advantage goes to Florida, and I just think they're going to win a lot more one-on-one battles for loose pucks. I'm telling you what, I've seen this for 3 rounds with Florida this year. I saw it for 4 rounds with Florida last year. Maybe not so much the Vegas series because they lost, but when it's Bennett versus someone on the other team, Tkachuk versus someone on the other team, and it's a one-on-one battle for a loose puck that's there for the taking. You know who was winning those battles? The Florida guy, 9 times out of 10. That's what Edmonton's going to have to show me in this series. Do they have that physical fortitude to say, I'm getting this puck, you're not? That's up for debate.
Well, they're like Vegas last year, Cam. That's what Vegas did. And, there's no secret here. In the NHL playoffs, skill can only get you so far, really, in the playoffs. You'll notice skilled players will hit a wall. It's harder to score in the playoffs. Vegas won the Cup last year. They're a big physical team. Florida were in the Cup last year, big physical team. They're back in the Cup this year, big physical team. People think they're going to win. But the thing is, Edmonton are physically big. They don't play the same style, but Edmonton are big players. And in fact, like physically, they're bigger than Florida. Like there's a lot of big dudes on Edmonton, but they're not. They only have a few nasty guys on their team.
Yes.
But they are physically big guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're not easy to get off the puck, the Oilers. Yeah. And they're also freaking fast. So to hit them, guys, you're going to have to catch them, too. You know what I mean?
Florida's defense is pretty good.
Strength of the Panthers is, Cam, the board battles.
Yes.
Along the boards, it's unbelievable how awesome they are, Florida.
I agree. They've done it to everybody. They won every battle against every team. But here's the deal. To Gabe's point, that the best player in the world is still on the Edmonton Oilers. And I remember watching Connor McDavid before where we're like, he's hurt. He looks like he's getting another gear. And when you have the best player in the world, that's concerning when you're betting on the Florida Panthers because he's not like he's amping up his game. It's not like he's playing with I got a bruised knee and this and that, whatever. He looks about as healthy as he's been. And that's very good news if you're an Oiler backer.
So, Babano, how many games and Conn Smythe, and then we'll move on to some football.
I will say Florida, and I say it goes the distance. Florida will win on home ice in 7 games in this series. It'll be close. And I give Edmonton will be a tough out for Florida. This is not going to be Florida rolls through them like a hot knife through butter. But I do think they'll emerge. I think it'll be in 7. It'll be hopefully a great series. And for the Conn Smythe, I'm going to throw some longer shots out there that I think are live. Zach Hyman for Edmonton, Sam Bennett for the Florida Panthers.
There you go.
That's right. I am going down the board. I'm looking for some value, and I think both of those players are underpriced right now to win this con, especially with the way Bennett finished that series against the Rangers. And again, Zach Hyman, with the amount of goals he's scoring, sure, it's going to be tough not to give it to McDavid if they win. But 33-1 on Hyman, yeah, it's worth a couple bucks, and I think the same about Bennett at 100-1.
All right, let's get to the UFL. Michigan Panthers. Nice year for Michigan. It's never really been pretty ever on a weekly basis. You could argue their best player is actually their kicker, Jake Bates, who's just money and been drilling 60-yard plus kicks all year long. little shine has come off Birmingham over the last couple of weeks, but I think it's an overreaction personally, Babano. At 5 only, Birmingham are going to step it up, bro. They were 8-0, whatever. Like, they're playing for a three-peat here. I don't think Michigan's offense is good enough to beat them. So I think Birmingham's going to win. Then you get into, they're going to win. They're probably going to cover. Me personally, I like this Michigan team, so I don't like picking on them here. It's a hell of a story. But I think Birmingham is the play. And then the Brahmas are the story of the year. Wade Phillips, great guy. So much fun to watch this team. But going into St. Louis, tough place to win. Who do you like this week in the United Football League playoffs?
I think it's Birmingham, St. Louis in the final. Look, I'm a little leery of Birmingham just because they've gone through the motions and they've looked so lackadaisical these last several weeks. They haven't covered a point spread in forever, but they locked up everything long ago. If one team's capable of flipping the switch and turning it on, and do we really want to bet against Skip Holtz, who's owned the spring football leagues these last 2 years in the playoffs? Not really. And Adrian Martinez will be back. He's been great. I think he can outplay Danny Etling or whoever's at quarterback here for Michigan on the other side. Just a little more offense. And the defense we know with Birmingham, I think, can cause some trouble and wreak havoc on that Michigan O-line. So I'll go with Birmingham. I do lean over in that game. I think Birmingham can win like a 35-24 type game. And then the other one, I'll go St. Louis -3 and the under, because I think both defenses are pretty solid. I just think McCarron and the Battlehawks offense a little bit better, trustworthy than Garbers, and the home field, I think, will make a difference as well.
Yeah, it's one of the few distinct home field advantages in the UFL in St. Louis. All right, we got some CFL picks, Cam's Memorial picks on the other side. This is Sports Rage.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I gotta tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's do this thing. Cam Memorial golf picks. What do you got for us?
Yeah, let's plow through this. I got less picks to win, but I'm going higher units, and top 20s are the way to play this thing. Smaller field, but the cream will rise to the top. Gabe, let's go with Colin Morikawa. He's been on every leaderboard for the last couple of months. His game is really peaking, and he'll like to play in front of Jack. We got for him at 14-1, Victor Hovland. We've talked about the equipment, the defending champion of this tournament, and it has the absolute length to get it around here. 18, Ludvig Åberg, the Swede. The only question is, he's got a little bit of time off. He's enjoying himself, but you're getting a good number because his field's very good at 25. And my bomb is Sepp Straka, very underrated. He's one of those underrated golfers on tour. All he does is make paychecks, total top 20 machine, but he's 66-1. Top 10s. Jack Nicklaus is a big fan of Patrick Cantlay, and Cantlay always brings his A game when he comes to Memorial, plus 220 for a top 10 finish. Also, he's in the 5-hole competing for a spot on an American team. Top 4 make it. Big week for Cantlay. Top 20. Homa. Max Homa, Gabe, your guy, plus 110. I think he'll play well. Keep it down the middle. Sahith Theegala has the length to play well at plus 140. Zalatoris, the harder the course, the better he plays at plus 180. And Austin Eckroat, what's in your throat? I'll tell you, watch out for this guy. He is a bomber of the golf ball. If the putter's cooperating, almost 3-1 for a top 20, Morency. Let's have fun. First round leaders, watch out. Xander Schauffele is the hottest guy right now, 2 out of 3. But we're going to go with Hovland, 22. Åberg, 30. Sahith Theegala at 40-1 first round leader. Sepp Straka, smooth 50. Thompson's water seal. Davis Thompson at 70. And Austin Eckroat, 75-1. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the Memorial. Jack has the best ice cream milkshakes on tour.
All right. Thank you, Cam. Good stuff.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, CFL kickoff as well. And we should note for people tuning in, wherever you are, you should be able to watch these games. CBS Sports Network has 3 of the 4 games this week in the CFL, including the kickoff tomorrow night. So if you're not down with the NBA, there's some football tomorrow night. Montreal Alouettes, defending Grey Cup champions, visit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This game is at 8:30 Eastern Time, TSN, RDS, CBS Sports Network. The only game that's not on the CBS Sports Network this week is Hamilton and Calgary. Saskatchewan and Edmonton is on Saturday afternoon. And the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts on Sunday night, CBS Sports Network as well, 7 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to take the Montreal Alouettes plus the points tomorrow. Everybody's talking about, revenge spot, and people think, Montreal going into Winnipeg. It's too many points. I don't think it's week one of the CFL. Defenses are ahead of the offenses. Give me the underdog tomorrow night with the Montreal Alouettes plus 7.5, and I'm going to go under the number. Babano, quickly, what do you like in the CFL this week? What's your best bet? What catches your eye the most this week?
Well, I wouldn't take Winnipeg now. I got on the -6 early in the week. That doesn't do anybody any good here. I mean, it's up to 7.5, 8. I don't hate looking at Montreal now at the current number. The total I'm torn on because I think Winnipeg, their offense is ahead of their defense. I think their offense is still really good. I think their defense has questions, but I think Montreal's the opposite. I think their defense is really good and could be ahead of their offense here, especially with Austin Mack no longer there at receiver and stand back as well. So I lean under there a little bit, but not enough to bet it. Hamilton, Calgary, look, I mean, you talk about revenge games. I don't know if this is revenge, but it's Bo Levi Mitchell's first start back in Calgary. I said it on my show earlier this week. Calgary's going to be the worst team in the CFL. They're going to be worse than anybody in the East, in my opinion, this year, the Calgary Stampeders. That's how low I am on them coming in. I don't think anything of Jake Mayer. Malik Henry, their best receiver's already injured. Their defense fell apart.
All right, Babano. Listen, you like Hamilton. Yes, okay.
Hamilton and under on Friday. Saturday, Saskatchewan and over. I think both offenses are ahead of the defenses there with the Riders and the Elks. And I think Trevor Harris will have a huge bounce back year. And Saskatchewan's my sleeper in the West. And then Toronto and BC. I'm taking Toronto, believe it or not. BC doesn't do well in Toronto. I know Cameron Dukes, but but knows the offense. He's familiar with it. I think the Argos can hang there, keep it close. I don't know about win. I'll take my shot with Toronto. And that's another game where I like the over. I think BC will move the ball on a weaker Toronto defense. And I think Dukes in the offense will play a little bit better than people think.
You know what? I don't have a problem with Cameron Dukes. He's been there. He's a decent quarterback. But the Argonauts lost. It's not just Chad Kelly, dude. They lost a hell of a lot of players. They've lost 10 to 12 starters, literally. And they're replacing players. They didn't want to pay everybody. They had a bunch of really good players. They didn't want to pay everybody. So they're sort of rebuilding a little bit. I think BC are going to go in there and beat them down. on Sunday night. But we'll have more picks tomorrow night. We're going to be on after the NBA Finals tomorrow night. Give me the Mavericks plus the points. Plus 6.5 points tomorrow in the Mavericks in the series. We'll see you at midnight Eastern tomorrow, 9 Pacific. Other than that, you're on your own later.